Capricorn, Capricorn. You returning into someone no one expected. Number 5 is unbelievable. Capricorn, the people around you are noticing something different about you. They can't quite explain what it is, but they feel you're not the same person anymore. And you know what's most unsettling? They're right. You're turning into someone no one expected. Not them. Not even you. Throughout your life, everyone knew exactly who you were. The responsible one. The reliable one. The tireless worker. The one who always puts duty above desire, obligation above passion, reason above emotion. You were predictable, solid, unshakable as a mountain. But something broke inside you. Or rather, something awakened. You've started doing things that don't make sense to those who know you. Saying no when you always said yes. Choosing pleasure when you always chose productivity. Prioritizing yourself when you always prioritized everyone else. And people? They don't know how to react. Because this isn't the Capricorn they knew. This isn't you being you. Or is it finally? In the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal exactly 5 radical changes that are transforming you into someone completely unexpected. Changes that are shocking those who know you and, most importantly, shocking you yourself. And when we get to revelation number 5, you'll finally understand why this transformation needed to happen. Why you needed to break the mold that imprisoned who you really are. If you are a Capricorn or have Capricorn rising, get ready. Because what you are about to discover about this unexpected version of yourself will make you question everything you thought you knew about who you were supposed to be. The journey to the real you begins now. Before we begin, subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Because what you're about to discover about this radical and unexpected version of yourself will validate every strange choice you've been making lately. Capricorn, when was the last time you said no? Not in a polite way, with an elaborate excuse, but a direct, firm no, without justification? And more importantly, when was the last time you said no and didn't feel guilty afterwards? Something revolutionary is happening to you. You are developing the most unsettling and liberating ability a Capricorn can have. The ability to refuse, to decline, to simply say no, this doesn't work for me, without apologizing for existing. And people are in shock. Because this isn't the you they knew. The you they knew was always available, always willing, always ready to sacrifice your time, your energy, your peace to help, to solve problems, to carry everyone's burdens. But now you're saying no. And that's shattering the mold everyone had of you. Imagine that for years you were a bridge. Firm, reliable, always there for people to cross. And you never complained, never charged a toll. Never closed for maintenance. People crossed their own problems using you as support. And you felt useful, necessary, important. Until one day you realized, you are a bridge, but who supports you? You carry everyone else, but who carries you? You are always available, but who is available for you? And the answer was silent and devastating, nobody. Because people don't see bridges. They use bridges. They don't ask if the bridge is tired, if it needs repairs, if it wants a day off. They simply cross it, and they expect the bridge to be there whenever they need it. So you started doing something radical. You started closing for maintenance. You started saying, I can't right now. I don't have the availability. No, this doesn't work for me. And the people? They were outraged. You've changed, they say, their voices filled with accusation. You're selfish, they complain. You're no longer trustworthy, they lament. As if your only function in life were to be available to solve their problems, while yours silently pile up. On the outside, you still maintain that Capricorn demeanor, composed, professional, courteous. But on the inside, you're at war. Between the person you've always been and the person you're becoming. Between pleasing others and finally honoring yourself. Between the guilt that was programmed into you and the freedom you're beginning to feel. And this war exhausts you. Because saying no when you've been trained your whole life to say yes is like swimming against the current. It's like unlearning a language you've spoken forever. It's like betraying a version of yourself that was so praised, so valued, so used. But here's the liberating truth you're finally understanding. The people who get upset when you set boundaries never truly respected you. They only appreciated your availability. They didn't love you. They loved what you did for them. And when did you stop doing that? When did you stop always being available? When did you stop sacrificing your peace for their convenience? They disappeared, and that hurt you deeply. But it also showed you something crucial. You were surrounded by people, but completely alone. This transformation you're going through, from always saying yes to finally saying no, isn't making you a worse person. It's making you a real person. It's taking you out of the role of savior, martyr, human bridge, and putting you in the role you should always have occupied, the protagonist of your own life. You're not becoming selfish. You're becoming balanced. You're not becoming insensitive. You're becoming selective. You're not abandoning people. You're finally ceasing to abandon yourself. Yes, people are shocked. They're confused. They're disappointed. But you know who isn't? You. Because, for the first time in your life, you're breathing. You're sleeping better. You're feeling a lightness you never felt when you were carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. Your no isn't setting you free. And whoever truly loves you will understand. Whoever doesn't understand never truly loved you. They only loved having you available. This one's going to get you, Capricorn. When was the last time you did something just because you wanted to? Not because it would get you somewhere. Not because it was productive. Not because it contributed to your goals. But simply because it gave you pleasure? Can you remember? The truth is, you've been trained your whole life to value only what produces results. Your time is only worthwhile if it's building something. Your rest is only deserved after total exhaustion. Your pleasure is only allowed as a reward for achievements. You've turned your life into an endless climb. And each time you reach a peak, instead of stopping and appreciating the view, you're already looking at the next mountain, planning the next conquest, preparing for the next ascent. But something is changing inside you. Something that scares you and sets you free at the same time. You're starting to question, what for? What's the point of all this climbing? What's the point of all this sacrifice? What's the point of postponing life in the name of a future that may never come? And for the first time, you're doing unproductive things. You're spending an entire afternoon just reading a book that won't teach you any professional skills. You're sleeping in without feeling like you're wasting the day. You're canceling appointments just because you don't feel like going. You're choosing what makes you feel good instead of what makes you look good. And this is terrifying you. Because it seems wrong. It seems lazy. It seems irresponsible. As if you were betraying everything Capricorn stands for. Imagine a machine that has worked perfectly for years. Always on. Always producing. Always efficient. And suddenly, this machine starts to take breaks. It starts to slow down. It starts to choose when to operate and when to rest. People who depend on this machine panic. It's broken, they say. It needs fixing, they demand. It can't stop now, they plead. But the machine is not broken. It is finally becoming human. You've spent your whole life being the person everyone could count on. The one who always delivers. The one who never disappoints. The one who sacrifices everything, relationships, health, happiness, on the altar of productivity and duty. And where has that led you? You have achievements, yes. You have accomplishments, yes. But do you have joy? Do you have lightness? Do you have memories of moments that made you feel fully alive, not just fully busy? On the outside, you're still the ambitious Capricorn everyone admires. But on the inside, you're starting to question whether all that success is worth the life you haven't lived. Whether all that professional respect compensates for the emotional emptiness. Whether all that admiration for your discipline justifies the absence of genuine pleasure. And people notice the change. You're relaxing too much, they warn. You're losing focus, they criticize. You're not as determined anymore, they judge. But for the first time, instead of panicking and rushing back into machine mode, you take a deep breath and think, what if they're right? What if I'm really relaxing? What if this is exactly what I need? You're discovering something revolutionary. You are not what you produce. Your value isn't in your resume. Your importance isn't in your achievements. You can be loved, respected, and important without working yourself to death. And this is transforming you into someone unexpected. Someone who laughs more, who breathes more deeply, who stops to watch the sunset without feeling like they're wasting time, who chooses a long conversation with a friend instead of another hour of work. You are allowing yourself to be human. And for a Capricorn who has lived like a machine their whole life, that's the most shocking and necessary transformation of all. Capricorn, this revelation will deeply affect you because it attacks the very core of how you've always operated. You've always been the most logical person in the room, the one who thinks before feeling, the one who analyzes before deciding, the one who controls emotions as if they were dangerous variables that need to be tamed. Reason always came first. Always. But something is changing, and it scares you because you don't know how to deal with it. You're starting to make choices based on how you feel, not on how you should feel, not on how it makes logical sense to feel, but on how you genuinely, authentically feel. You're ending relationships that, on paper, seem perfect, but are emotionally draining. You're turning down opportunities that are logically incredible, but intuitively leave you feeling empty. You're making decisions that don't make sense to anyone, including yourself, but simply feel right at a heart level. And that terrifies you, because you built your entire life on logical foundations, on planning, on strategy, on reason. And now you're demolishing those foundations and rebuilding with something far more unstable and frightening: feelings. Imagine you've always been an architect, designing everything down to the smallest detail. Every line is measured. Every angle is calculated. Every structure is planned to withstand any storm. And suddenly, you start building, following only your intuition. No blueprints. No measurements. Just feeling. The people around him are confused. This doesn't make sense, they say. You're being too emotional, they criticize. Where's that rational Capricorn who always makes smart decisions, they ask. And you have no answer. Because you don't fully understand what's happening either. You only know that for the first time in your life, you're letting your heart speak louder than your head. And that is simultaneously liberating and terrifying. On the outside, you still maintain that Capricornian composure. But on the inside, you're in chaos. Because you've been taught your whole life that emotions are weakness, that feelings are dangerous, that you always need to be in control. But now you're learning something no one taught you. Sometimes, controlling everything means not experiencing anything. Sometimes, the smartest decision is the one that doesn't make logical sense, but makes perfect sense to your soul. You are becoming someone who cries when they need to cry, who expresses anger when they feel angry, who admits to fear when they are afraid, who says, "I love you," without considering the consequences, who makes decisions because they seem right, not because they are safe. And what about people? People aren't ready for this you. For the Capricorn who finally stopped pretending to be made of stone and admitted that they are made of flesh, blood, and intense emotions that have been repressed for too long. Pause here, Capricorn. I need to know something from you right now. Are you feeling it? This transformation from a super-controlled person to someone who is finally allowing themselves to feel without censoring every emotion? If you're finally saying no without guilt, comment, "My NO is setting me free." If you are choosing pleasure over productivity, comment, "I am allowing myself to live." If you are prioritizing emotion over logic, comment, "I'm feeling everything." I read every comment. I want to know if you're also going through this unexpected transformation that's shocking everyone around you. Now let's move on to revelation number 4, which will explain even more about who you are becoming. This transformation is the most frightening of all for you, Capricorn, because it goes against every instinct you have. You've always needed to be in control of everything, of the outcome, of the process, of the timing, of the variables. You've always needed to have a plan, A, B, C, D, and E. You've always needed to be 10 steps ahead. You've always needed to ensure there would be no surprises, failures, or unforeseen events. Control was his safety, his comfort, his peace. But now you're doing something you never imagined you were capable of. You're letting go. You are letting things happen without trying to control every detail. You are accepting that not everything needs to be perfectly planned. You are understanding that sometimes the best plan is to have no plan. You are learning to trust the flow of life instead of trying to build dams to contain every river. And that terrifies you. Because letting go of control always feels like failure to you. It feels like giving up. It feels like irresponsibility. Imagine someone who has spent their entire life holding the reins of a carriage, controlling every movement of the horses, calculating every turn, ensuring it never strayed from the planned path. And suddenly, this person lets go of the reins and lets the horses choose the way. Everyone shouts, "You're going to get lost. You're going to crash. You're going to regret it." But what happens? Horses know paths you could never have planned. They take you to places more beautiful than you imagined. They show you that there are better destinations than the ones you had so carefully planned. You're learning that controlling everything is, in fact, limiting everything. That your hands, clenched into fists of control, were preventing life from offering you gifts you never planned for, but which are exactly what you need. You're starting to say things you've never said before. "We'll see what happens. I'll let life surprise me. I don't know what's going to happen, and that's okay." And every time you say that, an old part of you panics, but a new part smiles with relief. On the outside, people are shocked. Didn't you make any plans? Don't you have any guarantees? How can you be so calm without knowing the outcome? And you're learning that true calmness doesn't come from controlling everything. It comes from trusting that you can handle whatever comes. You are transforming from someone who needs to secure the future to someone who is finally living in the present. From someone who tries to control every variable to someone who is embracing uncertainty as part of the adventure. And this is you becoming someone no one expected. Not even you. And finally, we've arrived here. The revelation that changes absolutely everything. The reason why you're becoming someone no one expected. Capricorn, you're doing something incredibly brave and terrifying. You're questioning the script. The script your parents wrote for you. The script society approved. The script you followed perfectly for years, decades, maybe your whole life. Study. Work hard. Build a career. Be responsible. Get married. Have children. Climb the corporate ladder. Be respectable. Be stable. Be predictable. You followed that script to the letter. You did everything right. You were the perfect son, the exemplary employee, the reliable person. You met every expectation, achieved every goal, fit into every mold. And then something inside you started screaming. What if I don't want this script? What if this isn't my story? What if I was a brilliant actor in a play that isn't mine? You're starting to make choices that make your parents question whether they raised you right. You're making decisions that make society look at you disapprovingly. You're living in ways that don't fit the How to Be a Successful Capricorn manual. And this is the deepest rebellion there is. It's not noisy teenage rebellion. It's silent but absolute adult rebellion. It's you saying, "Thanks for the script, but I'm going to write my own now." Maybe you're abandoning a career you've built over years to do something that ignites your soul but doesn't make sense on paper. Maybe you're ending a relationship that seems perfect to everyone else, but is killing you inside. Maybe you're moving to a place no one understands. Maybe you're choosing a path that has no guarantees, no security, no approval. And everyone who knows you is saying, "Are you crazy? Are you going to throw it all away?" Think about your age. Think about what you've built. You're going to regret it. But what about you? Are you finally understanding that the only real regret would be reaching the end of your life and realizing that you lived someone else's script perfectly, but never your own? Imagine you spent your whole life climbing the mountain your parents pointed out. You climbed with dedication, with sacrifice, with perfection. And when you got close to the top, you looked around and realized, this isn't my mountain. This is their mountain. My mountain is in a completely different direction. And now you're going down. You're starting over. You're choosing your own climb, even if it's harder, riskier, more misunderstood. On the outside, you're maintaining your composure. But on the inside? On the inside, you're terrified and exhilarated at the same time. Because you're disappointing people you've always tried to please. You're losing the approval you've always worked to keep. You're becoming a disappointment to those who looked up to you. But for the first time, you're not letting down the person who matters most, yourself. You are transforming into someone authentic, into someone brave enough to disappoint others, instead of continuing to disappoint your own soul. Into someone who chooses to live small in the eyes of the world in order to live great in your own eyes. And this is unbelievable. This is unexpected. This is you finally being yourself. Capricorn, I know it's been difficult. I know there are nights when you lie in bed and think, did I make the right choice? Should I have stayed the way I've always been? This is your deepest conflict. All your life, you've been the rock, the mountain, the unwavering foundation. People built their lives on your stability. They trusted that you would never change, never waver, never prioritize yourself. But you got tired. You got tired of being strong for everyone while breaking inside. You got tired of meeting expectations while killing your own dreams. You got tired of being the person everyone needed while no one asked who you needed. And now you're changing. And that's scaring everyone. Because if even you, the unwavering Capricorn, are transforming, questioning, prioritizing your own happiness, then maybe nobody is as stable as they seem. Maybe everyone is just one step away from challenging their own scripts. You're not having a crisis. You're having an awakening. An awakening always seems like chaos before it reveals itself to be clarity. People will judge you. They will question you. They will try to convince you to go back to who you were, because who you were served them. But who are you becoming? It only serves you. And that, for many, is unacceptable. But here's the truth that will set you free. You don't need their permission to live your own life. You don't need their approval to make choices that honor your soul. You don't need to be the version of yourself they prefer. You just need to have the courage to be who you truly are when you take off the perfect Capricorn uniform and let the imperfect, yet authentic, human emerge. So Capricorn, if you've made it this far, I want you to understand something fundamental. You're not destroying who you were. You're freeing who you've always been beneath the expectations. This unexpected transformation, it's not a detour. It's a return. A return to yourself before you learned that you had to be strong. You had to be responsible. You had to carry everyone. You had to follow the script. And when you finally accept yourself in this new version, more human, more emotional, freer, more authentic, you will look back and be grateful. Grateful for having had the courage to disappoint the right people in order to finally honor the right person, yourself. The people who truly love you will adjust. They will understand. They will support you. And those who can't, they love the role you were playing, not who you really are. Now I need to know from you, which of these 5 revelations impacted you the most? Which one made you pause and think, this is exactly what I'm experiencing? If revelation number 1 about saying no resonated with you, comment. My NO set me free. If number 2 about pleasure versus productivity resonated with you, comment. I am choosing to live. If number 3 about emotion versus logic resonated with you, comment. I'm finally feeling it. If number 4 about letting go of control resonated with you, comment. I trust the process now. And if number 5 about challenging expectations shocked you, comment. I'm writing my own script. Leave it below. Share what you're going through. Because when a Capricorn allows themselves to be vulnerable, they free others to do the same. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more in-depth content about astrology and personal transformation. And share this video with that Capricorn you know who's going through this unexpected transformation and needs to know that they're not crazy, they're not wrong, they're just finally being real. Until the next video. And remember, you don't have to be a mountain to everyone. You can be human and still be amazing. A big hug. Goat Sparkles.